Hey everyone, Theo here. Today I'm reviewing the ASUS Zenbook 15 OLED model number UM3504, which was released this year, and my review will be from the perspective of a visual content creator, someone who does digital art, graphic design, and happens to have a YouTube channel. First of all, a disclaimer, this is a review unit on loan from ASUS Singapore. In this video, I just want to present to you my findings so that you can decide whether or not this is worth the money. Shown on the screen are the specifications for this review unit that I have here, which costs 2,099 Singapore dollars or 1,299 US dollars on Amazon.com. So this laptop comes with the AMD Ryzen 7 7735U mobile processor, which is an 8-core processor. It uses AMD Radeon graphics. There is 16 gigabytes of RAM, 1 terabyte of SSD storage. Alright, let me give you the bottom line up front. This laptop looks good, has solid build quality. The OLED display is gorgeous, it's bright, vibrant and sharp, and the overall performance of this laptop is quite smooth, and it can even handle some light gaming. I was able to play Red Dead Redemption 2 at 720p resolution at 35 frames per second, which is quite smooth, and I'm very surprised that I could play that game because this is not a gaming laptop. The port selection is good. There is USB-A to USB-C, and they all have good transfer speeds, and there is one full-size HDMI here as well. Typing experience on this keyboard is good, and the touchpad is big and accurate and responsive. So what are the downsides or limitations? This surface material is matte textured, which is nice, but it's quite susceptible to fingerprints. The downward facing speakers don't sound that great because they are downward facing, so they sound a bit hollow, and the volume doesn't get much louder beyond 50%. And I personally do not like the aspect ratio of this display, which is 16:9. I prefer 16:10 or 3:2. So those are the pros and cons of this laptop. Oh, the battery life is about 8 hours, which is pretty good for a Windows laptop. And now on to the full review. Let's take a look at the items included with the purchase. Do note that the bundled goodies may differ depending on the country. So here in Singapore, you get a backpack with a zip pocket in front, a side pocket, and inside there is a padded compartment for the laptop, the main compartment, and a zip compartment. And this backpack actually looks pretty good and looks durable enough. There is this adapter. This is for Ethernet to USB-A. This is a 65-watt power adapter with USB-C connector. The cable is quite long. The laptop supports USB-C charging, so you can use any GAN charger that you may already have. And this is the power cable. Quick start guide and warranty card. And lastly, there is this sleeve for the laptop with leather-like material in front. It's probably not real leather, and fabric on the back. And this is Velcro, and there is a little holder here for the pen. And this fits the laptop really well. So you can see the cover of the laptop has so many fingerprints. Let's take a closer look at the design. So this laptop is available in 2 colors, and this is Ponder Blue, which is the only color sold here in Singapore. The other color is the Basalt Gray, which features a ceramic top, which looks nicer and feels nicer. So if you can get the ceramic top, get the ceramic top, because that is just way better compared to this. And you can see this is quite susceptible to fingerprints, so after a day or so at the office or in school, you're going to have many fingerprints on the laptop. So this surface is matte textured, and there is this lines here which represents the ASUS logo. The laptop is quite thin, and the weight is 1.4 kg, which for a 15-inch laptop is considered lightweight. So those are the holes for the fan or air intake. The exhaust is here on the left side, and here as well by the side. The two downward facing speakers sound alright, but they are downward facing, so they sound a bit hollow. And the volume doesn't get much louder beyond 50%. Now with the ASUS Zenbook S13 OLED that I reviewed recently, the speakers were downward facing, but they also face the side, so those speakers sound better. These two are just facing downward directly. And there are three big rubber feet. I can see two fans under the grills. The fan noise under normal load is not audible. You can only hear the fans when gaming or exporting photos and videos. Now I did not open up the back of the laptop, so I cannot tell you whether the RAM or SSD are user replaceable. This is the left side of the laptop. There is one USB-A with USB 3.2 Gen 1 transfer speeds, so those are the fan exhausts. And this part here is tapered, so this allows you to lift the laptop easily by the two sides. And on the right side, there are two USB-C ports. One's a USB 4 and one's a USB 3.2 Gen 2. They support video output and charging. That's the 3.5mm audio jack and a full-size HDMI port. This is a compact design. It's portable, and at 1.4 kg, it's considered lightweight for a 15-inch laptop. Let's take a look at the display. So you can open the lid with just one hand. And there are cameras at the top, which you can use for face unlock, which works fast and effectively. Now this display is actually a 15.6-inch display. This is an OLED display. The colors look fantastic out of the box. The color support is up to 100% DCI-P3. Now this is not a touch screen, so you don't have to worry about fingerprints on the screen. And this surface to me is very reflective because there is no anti-reflective coating. The aspect ratio is 16:9, which is alright. Personally, I would prefer 16:10 or 3:2 for the type of work that I do, which is mostly graphic design. The resolution is 2880 by 1620. Pixelation is not noticeable when working from one arm's distance away. Maximum standard brightness is up to 400 nits, and HDR brightness is from 550 to 600 nits. So this display is bright enough for use in bright room environments, except when there are reflections on the display. Now the viewing angles are pretty good with minimal color shift and slight drop in brightness, probably due to the glass in front. The refresh rate is 120 Hz, so animations such as expanding the window, minimizing the window, scrolling, zooming in and out, all those animations will look really smooth. There is Bluetooth 5.3 and Wi-Fi 6E, so the download speeds are pretty fast. This is a full-size keyboard with a number pad by the side. This number pad uses a 3-column design, which will take some time to get used to. The plus minus keys are moved to the top, and for some reason the multiply and divide keys are swapped. That's the power button at the top right. The function keys can be locked, so you can choose either to use them as F1 to F12 or function key shortcuts. The keys have good travel and feedback, so the typing experience is good, and the keys are backlit. I'm not sure if you can see it, but the light actually goes through the letters. The touchpad is big, accurate and sensitive, and supports finger gestures. There are left and right click areas, and this is positioned off center on the laptop, so this is actually somewhat beneath the spacebar, although not centered beneath the spacebar. And this is good because when you're typing, it's less likely for your thumbs to hit the touchpad accidentally. There's a good amount of palm rest space above the many advertising stickers. This sticker says the laptop surface can inhibit virus and bacteria growth. Let's talk about performance. So I've been using this laptop for almost 2 weeks now, and the overall performance is smooth and lag-free thanks to the 16 gigs of RAM and the Ryzen 7 7735U processor, which is an 8-core processor. So I don't experience any lag unless I am exporting videos in the background and then I go on to surf my web or type my documents. The internal SSD is fast, so apps can launch fast, and you can also save huge files or open huge files very quickly. I'm not sure if you can see my reflection on the display. I find that to be quite distracting, but it's a minor issue. Alright, just ignore the earlier touch interface UI because that's the wrong one. This is the actual touch interface UI. And I'm going to switch over to the Essentials Classic workspace and open up this InDesign file that I am currently working on. So this is how Adobe InDesign, a page layout software, looks on a 15.6-inch display with 16:9 aspect ratio. And it looks alright. I'm able to fit 2 columns of palettes by the side and get a good amount of canvas space to work with. So this is a PDF ebook that I am currently working on. And it has all the sketches that I have drawn this year. And this ebook is available to my patrons for free. Now, I would personally prefer to get a laptop with 16:10 or 3:2 aspect ratio because given the fixed width of the display, with a more squarish aspect ratio, you can get more vertical pixels to work with to show content. So whenever I see a laptop with 16:9 aspect ratio, I will not even consider that laptop. But 16:9 is better for media consumption such as gaming or watching YouTube videos because you will not have the black bars at the top and bottom. This is Adobe Lightroom and this is a 3:2 photo. So this is how it looks on a 16:9 display with columns of palettes by the side. So there will be unused space here and here by the side of the photo. If you have a display with more vertical resolution, you can actually see this photo larger and do away the space, the unused space on the left and right side. So this display supports 100% DCI-P3, which is, I would say, color accurate enough for professional visual content creation. This is DaVinci Resolve version 18 point something. I've just imported some 4K video shot at 25 FPS. So this is how much time it takes to import those clips. So I've just pulled all the clips into the timeline and let's play the timeline. So there is some stutter at the start, but now the video playback is very smooth. There is some stutter with the timeline below, but the main video is playing quite smoothly. And this is the edit mode. Let's play the video again. So the playback is smooth as well. Yep, the playback is very smooth. So the only issue with DaVinci Resolve is it's going to take some time for the thumbnails to load. And after all the thumbnails load, the playback is smooth. I'm exporting this video right now and the export speed for 4K project is about 1.5 times the length of the video. So if your project is 10 minutes long, it's going to take around 15 minutes to complete the export. I am pleasantly surprised to find that this laptop is capable of editing simple cut and join 4K videos. Let's talk about gaming. So this is Red Dead Redemption 2 at 720p resolution. And the frame rate I can see here is 49-50 FPS. Sometimes it may drop down to 39 FPS, but it doesn't go down to 30 FPS as long as you're running this at 720p resolution. I would prefer to play at 1080p resolution, but if I play at that resolution, sometimes the frame rate will drop below 30 FPS and sometimes the gameplay animation will become choppy. This game is Hades and the game resolution is 1080p and I'm able to get 120 FPS, so that is pretty good. So this laptop can handle some light gaming. I'm not sure if you can hear it, but the fans are spinning at full speed now The fan noise is loud, but it's not that loud. I've just quit the game and the fans started spinning down really quickly, so now I can barely hear the fans. So with normal load, the fan noise will just blend with the ambient noise. The battery life for this laptop is about 8 hours, which for a Windows laptop is pretty good because Windows laptops seldom cross the 10-hour mark for battery life. Alright, to conclude, this laptop looks good and performs well and has pretty solid build quality and can be used for some light gaming, which really surprised me. The downsides or limitations for this laptop personally for me would be the 16:9 aspect ratio display because I prefer 16:10 or 3:2 and the downward facing speakers. Now a few weeks ago I reviewed the Zenbook S13 OLED, which is a smaller laptop compared to this. Now that smaller laptop is actually more expensive compared to this bigger laptop, probably because that laptop actually uses the Intel processor. So this uses AMD, so maybe that's why this is more affordable. But I would personally go with the 13-inch model because that's even more compact. That's just 1 kg. And usually when it comes to graphic design work, I prefer to use a larger display. So I will connect the smaller laptop to a larger display with the HDMI port that's provided. If you want to use your laptop as your main computing device, sure, get a larger screen because that's going to be more comfortable for your eyes when you're working for long periods of time. Oh, before you go, if you guys have intention to get this laptop, consider using the affiliate links that I have for you in the video description below to support my YouTube channel. Alright, see you guys in the next video. Bye!